So this is how people are viewing you. Obviously, you've come a long ways. It's been a journey for you, but people see you as the temperance. But people are judging you because perhaps some of your addictions in the past. The next three cards we have family. Family perhaps backstabbed you, or probably friends that you considered family backstabbed you, and right now you're just like, whatever. The last three cards we have here is anxiety, walking away, but retaining your peace. So let's go to the very first three cards, and again, it's temperance. Obviously, you have patience with yourself, patience with people at work, patience with your loved ones, patience with your lovers perhaps, right? You are successful because of your patience. Everything's in moderation, all right? You learn that you don't have to take your clothes off to have a good time. You have learned that you don't have to get shit-faced drunk to have a good time, all right? Slow and steady wins the race type of thinking here, right? You're diligent, you save your money, and you have a lot of growth, all right? And so the judgment, obviously people are judging you because of your past, right? Because we all do that, and people judge me too, right? Because to see this card also indicates that you are in a period of awakening, brought on by the act of self-reflection, all right? And that's why you're in this energy, all right? Because in love, it's about renewal in love for self. Obviously, you've made adjustments in your life, within you, perhaps how you love. Obviously, now you found purpose, perhaps in your career or in self or in whatever you are doing, right? Perhaps you're taking more accountability in your work, more accountability in your relationships, and things like that. This permeates throughout your life, right? Also in your finances, your habits. Things have gotten better, all right? You have more value in yourself and the people around you because you've learned, all right? You've learned to keep this guy away, right? This guy right here, right? That temptation, whether it's a lover or an idea, right? Because the last thing you want to do is be oppressed by your addictions or obsessions. You know, I used to be there. Yes, sir. Many moons ago, right? I used to have excess in women, in drugs and alcohol and situations, and I used to be powerless against women, you know? We all go through this road, and so far you've won over that, right? You're no longer letting the addictions to substances or material pleasures, you know, can also be a reason for you to feel powerless and, you know, unhealed, right? Because lust was an issue. I know it used to be for me. Selfish, boy, did I used to be selfish, right? Selfish with lovers, disagreements, right? Obsession with P-Hub, right? Those things that we all suffer with, right? And obviously your job also took problems. I used to sleep with my colleagues. Even though I was married, I was sleeping with nurses. I was sleeping with other girls. I was sleeping with all sorts of things. You get the point, right? You've been there, done that. Bad financial habits was another thing, okay? And I'm not telling you anything that you already don't know, okay? So obviously the Ten of Cups, it's about your emotions, your intuition, right? But in this case, it has to do with family, all right? And your family, obviously, a lot happened in your family, right? Perhaps some betrayal, as you can see with the Ten of Swords. You know, it was perhaps an unhappy home. Perhaps your parents were divorced, or Maybe your dad got a little overzealous and there was some domestic violence. Perhaps your mom was dishonest with your father, and this really isolated you, and obviously you needed your parents because you were a kid. And you perhaps clung on to this guy because it made you feel good, like it made me feel good, right? With people, places, and things, right? Because to see the Ten of Cups is to indicate a true emotional fulfillment. And obviously that didn't really come up in your life, right? There was perhaps no commitment in love, right? No long-term stability. There was no, how would you say, stability in their careers because this guy was showing up, and perhaps that is what was affecting you and your finances and your stability, because we do it to ourselves, you know. And then you were sitting in this energy with like, hey man, I don't care, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do the booger sugar, I'm gonna drink a lot, I'm going to have wild sex escapades with whoever you chose, whether you knew them or not, or you were down at the local bar and said, hey, you will do, let's go to back seat of my car, and there you go, right? Hey, I used to be there, you know. And we have this over here. Obviously the energy that you used to find yourself in is the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is about obviously mental problems, issues, anxiety, right? It's about conflict. It's about the truth that perhaps you didn't want to see, that was keeping you up at night, where I shouldn't be sleeping with all these men or women because it's not good for me, it's not good for my soul, it's not good for growth, right? Fear, anxiety, despair, because we needed to feel good. We needed to feel those delicious drugs going up our nose or going down our gut, or some mollies or whatever we were doing. We had no recovery. We were learning how to cope with other people, places, and things, finding love in all the wrong places. And eventually we had to walk away from that type of destructive behavior as we see over here, right? Hey, I've been there, done that. You know, even though you filled all these cups, you had all these emotions with strangers and people and friends and no boundaries, you had to walk away. And you had to find your peace. You had to find the priestess, the high priestess. And the high priestess is the third card in the major arcana, okay? And that's about your unconscious, your intuition. You learn from your mistakes. For the mystery of what you thought life was, now you really know more about life. Spirituality is what you're into. That's why you're here. Higher power, you had to get to, obviously, to talk to God, Jesus, Buddha, whoever you pray to, right? Because what we had to learn is that her appearance in the reading can signify that it is time for you to listen to your intuition. That's why you're here, rather than prioritizing your intellect, right? Like over here and over here, right? Because you have to get out of your head, right? And we're now finding ourselves in this type of energy. Okay, and this is about Isis, this is about Mary and the three wise men and the Torah, and remaining on in your path, and path of self-love and love with others, because we have temperance, remember? This is where it started, but your journey has to end here, or to start perhaps. You know, I've been on this journey for a very long while, and I found my passion, and I found a whole bunch of things along the way. I got more creative and I educated myself, and now I'm here trying to guide those who need help, perhaps just like you. And I will see you in a later video.